So you're here in Chicago, the third-party debate. Are you disappointed that the commissions on the debates did not hear your lawsuit and were able to get onto the main presidential debate platform?
Well, yes, but no surprise. I mean, it's the Presidential Debate Commission are Republicans and Democrats. It's not a governmental agency. There's nothing about it that's fair, and no surprise.
It seems after these three debates, it still seems like the country is still disenfranchised with choosing between Obama and Romney, and they feel, and they hear the talking points that you vote for a third-party candidate, it's like voting for one or the other. Where do you see currently the third-party platform between yourself, all the other candidates? Do you see, hopefully in the future campaigns in 2016 and so forth, that we will see a third party or more party candidates in a debate?
Well, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think there was a real legitimate opportunity to supplant one of the two major parties, and that would be the Libertarian Party supplanting one of the two.
The foreign policy debate last time, I'm not sure if you caught any of it, but it seemed like
not at all.
It seemed like both were echoing, beating the war drums. What were your thoughts? And it seemed like they didn't even get into some pressing issues like the NDAA or how we're going to fund these wars. What were your thoughts on the foreign policy debate?
Well, just that. Let's stop with the military interventions, period. When they talk about Syria, funding the Syrian insurgents, which they both seem to support, those are jihadists that they're funding. So we're going to pick a winner and a loser. When they talk about supporting foreign governments, they're talking about supporting new dictatorships that take over from the old dictatorships, but the new dictatorships are going to be better? Come on. Nothing in our history has suggested that our interventions have resulted in things being better.
Economy-wise, issues about the Federal Reserve, the debt, weren't tackled in these debates. A Johnson administration, how would you tackle the Federal Reserve, $16 trillion in debt, and what could be hyperinflation in this country?
Well, there will be hyperinflation in this country. There will be a monetary collapse unless we start with a balanced budget. So I'm promising to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013. That's a $1.4 trillion reduction in federal spending. And then couple that with abolishing income tax, corporate tax, eliminating the IRS, and replacing all of that with one federal consumption tax. In this case, I'm embracing the fair tax, which I think is the answer to American exports. I think it's the answer to American jobs, because in a zero corporate tax rate environment, if the private sector doesn't create tens of millions of jobs, I don't know what it takes to create tens of millions of jobs. And then I'm the only candidate that would sign legislation abolishing the Federal Reserve. It's an inside game. Treasury prints money, they give it to the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve gives it to the banks at 0%. Banks don't give it to you or I. They buy treasuries in a closed loop. It's Bernie Madoff with a printing machine. And the profits that the banks make come from you and I, and it's unbelievably unfair. It's kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to crony capitalism in this country.
Finally, personal liberties, privacy, those issues weren't tackled in the debate. A lot of people are concerned with the TSA from either side of the political spectrum, left or right. People are concerned with internet freedom. That wasn't tackled. The United Nations are even talking about a global internet tax, a treaty. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm the free market guy, and tonight I'm going to be the only free market guy up there. I'd be the only free market guy, line every single presidential candidate up there. I'd be the only free market guy. So there's nothing I want to fix when it comes to the internet, nothing I want the government to fix when it comes to the internet. And we continue to pass legislation that has unintended consequence. I will speak as a governor who arguably vetoed more legislation than the other 49 governors in the country combined. So I have no aversion to standing up to corporate interests as opposed to creating systems that are more equal.
Jackson had good political arguments, he had good economic arguments, and the thing went away. So when we feel like all of opinions against us, there's just no hope, like with the Federal Reserve, well...
Apparently, it's the elite of our society, the power brokers, whatever you want to call them, presidents, corporate heads, whatever they may be, They get together once a year at a hotel.